This one is about stalking. Don't do it, okay? Not like when you're on your phone at night doing the stuff you ain't supposed to be doing. We see you. Person stalking person. In reality, face to face, or face to face in binoculars, face to behind the back of the head. Stalking, or however other techniques there are of stalking. Let's see what we can find. Just Nick, MDA 5814. This just happened to me today. There was this creepy guy following me around the store. I went to my car, to my house, because I felt uncomfortable. The guy followed me in his car for like 20 minutes. It was so freaking scary, so I had to stop at a coffee shop where one of my male friends was. He still went inside the coffee shop and stayed there for like 5 minutes, until he saw I wasn't going anywhere without my friend. After he left, my boyfriend and my boyfriend's dad came to the store, and that calmed me down. First time ever, I was shaking for like 10 minutes. Next time something like that happens, I'm calling the cops. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, there's some creeps out there. Like, let me tell you, there's plenty of times if we're driving somewhere, if someone's been driving behind us for too long, in the back of my head, I'm like, we gotta lose these people. We gotta take like 4 left turns. We gotta go. Lars Hoiker? Or is it Lar Schuhoiker? Whatever. Lars ass. As a 6'6", over 200-pound dude, I had been followed into a store by a woman before. It was definitely odd. I wasn't scared of her, but it did just straight up confuse me. She would follow me into all the aisles right behind me. When I was 100% sure she was following me, and I wasn't imagining it, I turned around really quick, and she just had a giant smile and kept walking the opposite direction. What is the point? I think he did the right thing. This is why men are supposed to flirt. She was probably trying to flirt with him, was really bad at it. It's questionable what lengths you go to. And again, granted, I can guarantee all these encounters are going to be mostly like men stalking women. But yeah, every once in a while, yeah, some of you ladies. Delilah Sloan. When I was a little girl, I think 4 or 5, my cousin was 8 or 9. We were best friends, and I stayed the night with her all the time. My aunt put us in the bed and turned the light out, and we were laughing and talking, being little kids while falling asleep. I was afraid of the dark, and my cousin would try to keep me from being scared, but I could hear something in the room. She at first tried to let me know nothing was making noise, but then she thought she heard something also. We laid there not sure if we should check it out or just go back to sleep, or if there was a ghost in the room. My cousin had a coat rack in her room, and the sound was coming from there. When the coat rack started moving, we screamed, and my cousin ran and got my aunt, who was getting up already and had grabbed a crutch and was running down the hall. My aunt turned the light on, and sure enough, behind the coat rack, crouched down, was the neighbor's 30-something-year-old son, drunk. My aunt called the police, and he told them he thought he was in his own house next door, and he crawled through a different window in the house, and somehow snuck into my cousin's room and was hiding. He went to jail. Why would he be hiding in the, coat rack, though? If he was in his own home? Yeah, I'm assuming the police didn't buy it also. Crispy potato. This happens to me all the time. All I do is turn around and keep staring and walking towards the person who is stalking and following me. They end up running away, and that's reverse psychology. That's how you do it right there. Stalking the stalker. Establish your dominance. That's what you do. That's a way to go, yeah. Winter cactus red. Dude, my dad has one still, legit. This girl was friends with his sister. My dad was dating my mom. This lady Michelle kept spreading rumors and breaking into my dad's truck and leaving stuff there for him to remember her by. Gross. She did this long past high school. Uh-oh, high school sweetheart. She did this long past high school. A security guard at my dad's job caught her for stealing twice. My dad got a restraining order, moved to the next town over, and thought he was rid of her. Let me just tell you, I am terrified of stalkers. Growing up, she would drive by our house, leave toys in the yard, and I swear she almost kidnapped my little brother. He was legit going toward her car when we were 5-ish. Mom came running out, called the cops, and we lived with Grandma for a while. I honestly thought after my parents split for a while and my dad dealt with her that she stopped. No, bro. I'm 30 effing years old, and this lady makes new Facebooks, Instas, and Twitter accounts trying to spy on my family. My dad said he's leaving his church because she found him again and joined his church. Sure, it could be a coincidence, but my dad drives an hour out of town to go to his best friend's church. Like it's far away from their city and is in the sticks. It makes me worried. Like, did she ever really stop? I know she got married, has 2 kids who are named, no joke, Brittany and Brandon, just like me and my brother. I also know she's divorced now because that's what she told some of the church members. I don't know if she's trying to get my dad still or not, but she's very crazy. Not dangerous, but that doesn't mean it's not scary. My dad says Michelle has built up a narrative in her mind that she thinks is true, which is why she can't give up. Though I think my evil aunt is feeding into Michelle's narrative. My aunt and my dad have been on bad terms these past few years, and I think the rearrival of his stalker is her way of getting back at him. But yeah, dude, I'd keep an eye out on her and stay away from crazy. Cops run to help women being stalked and laugh at men being stalked. Until she broke into his car twice, my dad couldn't do anything. The cops would just laugh, especially since my dad was a linebacker. Also, restraining orders expire. Kinda lame, but they do. God, I remember we ran into her family at the mall once when I was in high school, and I was completely freaked out when she introduced her kids, who are much younger than me and my brother, with the same names as us. My dad laughed and said, "What a coincidence, we're really busy, nice seeing you, bye." And we noped out of there. We dropped everything without buying it and was out. Crazy be crazy, man. I'll pray for you. Whoa, holy moly. There's a lot more men comments talking about being stalked than I was expecting. Like, society kinda expects men to do this, I guess. The kids' names, it's like, obviously all of it's too far, but the kids' names, that's, psychotic. Blech. Boomer elite for you. I'm a male who had a serious stalker. And people always act like I must have somehow deserved it because men are never victims. I didn't even know the chick, and when we were deployed, the only way to access the internet was through a computer lab. While my friends were using the computer, they noticed a female soldier behind them staring at my MySpace, and they pointed her out to me in the chow hall later. I had never met the woman in my entire life, and she began befriending all my comrades to try and get closer to me. And when we got back to the States, the level and degree of stalking I experienced was on another level, to the point where my roommate actually went to the chair of command because he was tired of her trying to break into our barracks room. I didn't have social media for years after that, and she still somehow found a way to stalk me, going as far as to find me on World of Warcraft and start playing on my server. Whoa, that's nuts. You chicks, you guys gotta calm down. Dang. Wow. There's a decent amount of high school ones. I don't know, I probably won't include those. You know, people do dumb stuff when they're young, most of the time. Most of the time people grow out of it. Some of this stuff with the kids getting a little obsessive in class. Not that it's acceptable, but some kids are really socially not there. And to normal kids, that can socialize a lot better. Yeah, I see how it just comes off. It's very uncomfortable, but yeah, most of the time they just grow out of it. Rogel. Circa 2006. I helped my good friend get rid of a creepy stalker. At first, we thought it was cute that she would leave letters at his desk, and I always teased him. Maybe wait for her one day to see who it is. Then it got weirder. She would leave locks of her hair in the letter and claim she got pieces of her hair from my friend. I don't know how and where she got them. And and that possessing a part of themselves mean they'd always be together. My friend being too much of a Mr. Nice Guy, he was creeped out, but he said just to ignore her letters. A few weeks later, he found a letter in his bag. It had really ominous stuff in it like, "I know where you live, I always see you through your window, and you'll be sorry for ignoring my notes." My friend then told me his sister saw a girl scanning through their house a couple of times. Since his sister is more preoccupied with house chores, she took the note of the girl but ignored her. My friend was obviously freaked out and asked me to help him handle it. With the combined power of deduction and contacts from gossiping teenage girls, I found out who she was. A weird, arrogant, and sometimes off girl in class 9. She barely had friends in their class because she thinks very highly of herself, but is actually quite incompetent. I handed her a note and told her to read it after I leave the room. It stated that if she doesn't leave my friend alone, we will put her on full blast to everyone at school for what she's doing. Also, his sister knows who she is and will kick the crap out of her. After that, the letters stopped coming and no creepy girl scanning through my friend's window. I heard from one of her ex-classmates after graduation that she barely acted high and mighty in their class and was very paranoid about what people were saying about her. I don't know if I feel sorry or not, but she's got issues that unfortunately I will never come to understand. That's nuts. I'm aware of my school speech a moment ago. Andrew ZY5TV. A rather long time ago, my father was working on a car in his driveway. He had almost an obsession with building them up. And one day his neighbor strolled by, saw my father, and asked if he needed any tools. Luckily, he didn't. The man still offered that if he needed any tools, he could just come by to the guy's house. About a month later, due to several missing persons and an anonymous tip, the police searched the man's house and discovered several mangled body parts. Whenever I see stories like this, I always think of how lucky my dad was to be prepared. Holy moly, a whole lot of dudes. It's like the comments from the girls, there's two types. There's the I was uncomfortable like at a grocery store, or I was uncomfortable here. This was terrifying. And then at the end of the comment, what I've seen so far, it's like, oh, but it was just some big misunderstanding. Kind of dilutes the serious stalking, I guess. And then there's like these extreme cases. But yeah, there's quite a bit of guys in here. That's nuts. Mesla Gear Solid. I'm a guy. One time I was walking home from a friend's house in a rural area at around 4 a.m. It was nearly pitch black and freezing cold. So I had a scarf over my face, my big jacket on, and a large hood. I almost had my headphones on. I must have looked suspicious to anyone walking by, but I was just staring at the footpath in front of me. I didn't notice a young woman jogging on the path coming towards my direction. She must have been so wary of me, but I didn't even know she was there until she got to me. She scared the absolute crap out of me. Like I nearly fell over. What a role reversal that was. Yeah. That's funny. I like that. Yeah, I was about to say when I was reading that halfway through, I'm all like, what if he scared the stalker? Pretty funny. I like that. ZB24. I've been so captivated by these stories since a young man went missing in the woods outside my town in the summer of 2020. I've never heard a case more bizarre and frustrating, but his story hasn't really gotten outside of Oregon. If you want to get angry about something, look up Michael Bryson. His family is still looking for him, and it seriously needs more coverage. Yeah, I had to switch topics. Yeah, the stalking stuff, that was getting tough to come by. Rob Walls, 6057. What I find to be very peculiar is that the National Park Service and the Department of the Interior does not have a centralized database for these 411 cases. Now, I've never been one for conspiracy theories, but if you consider that in this day and age, the government and law enforcement agencies have databases for just about everything, but not one for missing persons in national parks, it almost seems like the Park Service and the Interior are trying to keep these cases on the down low. So the question is why, and are they trying to hide something? Yeah, that is interesting. I do like the missing 411 stuff. We'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining me. I was your host, Cockles. You know what this is. Take care.